What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. I want to talk about the Orlando Magic because this team has picked up where it left off last season when it was rolling to finish the year. They're a very, very competitive bunch, a young bunch, but the most important part to me is they have an identity. They figured out what team they want to be. I want to talk about that. I'm going to break it down in just a second. Before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But the identity really is the defense. These dudes have bought into being a grimy, in-your-face defense. They lock up. They're very comfortable being in those grinded out, gritty games that a lot of teams don't want to play in. They're not a very flashy group, but they're up in your face. They're locking up. They're in your jerseys. They're rebounding the ball. They're really, really good on that end of the floor. And honestly, might be getting a little ahead of myself here, but I feel like they kind of remind me of the Grindhouse Grizzlies. You know, the Tony Allens, the Mike Conleys, Marcus Gasol, Zach Randolphs, Rudy Gays, etc. That's who they remind me of. There's not like a great amount of offensive firepower or anything like that, but they just believe in their defense. That's how they're going to win games, and it works. They were up by 34 on the best offense in the NBA and the Indiana Pacers today at the half. They held the Pacers to like 44 points. That's the best offense in the NBA so far, and they locked them up. Granted, it's only one game, but the proof is in the pudding. And if you look at their defense, they're top 3 in points per game allowed, and they're basically like half a point off of being, or less than that, off of being first. So essentially, they're almost tied for first in being not letting anybody get buckets on them. And they're a big team, and they know they're a big team, so they got to be able to rebound the ball. They're top 7 in rebounding, and I think they're like top 2 or 3 in offensive rebounding. So, you got Paolo Banchero, who's a big dude. You got Franz Wagner, who's a very big dude. Even Goga's playing well. Like, their guards are big. Jalen Suggs has been balling. I'm going to talk about the players in a little bit, but that's kind of the identity that they've really ran with. Like, hey, we're just going to lock up. We're going to make these games tough and grimy, and down the stretch, we're going to pull it out. And that's what they've done. They're 7-5, about to be 8-5, but the defense is really given them it's really given them the opportunity to win these games. And if you watch them a lot, they force you into a lot of ISO ball because they have all that length, right? So they force you into a lot of ISO ball, which creates a lot of contested jumpers. Not very many assists. I think they're the very best team in assists allowed. So they're forcing you into those ISOs, and I think they're top 2 in steals as well. So that's a mix right there that you have. That's a mix for success when you're forcing players to go one-on-one or one-on-5 essentially, because you're clogging all the lanes, you're in the passing lanes, you have good rim protection. Because of all that length, it makes it hard. So now if you're the other team, you're thinking, okay, I can't even get to the rim. I got to take a tough contested 3, or I'm going to try and force a pass. That's going to get ripped. That's going to get picked. Like, all these bad things can happen to the other team because of the identity that the Orlando Magic just believe that they're going to be the toughest defense in the NBA, and they're playing like it. But so we talk about the team, right, and how they do play very, very in unison. I think that's a very important nod to Coach Mosley because, when you're getting these young teams, and a lot of times the biggest thing they struggle with is, like, we don't know what we want to be. Are we good offensively? Are we great defensively? Are we somewhere in between? Like, how are we going to win games? A lot of teams don't know. It takes them a while to figure it out, and this team feels like kind of happened a little bit over the last, 2 seasons, really, ever since really Paolo got put into the mix and they got that first pick. Obviously changed the whole trajectory of the team, but I feel like that's what's kind of helping them is that this team's like, okay, yeah, defense is where we have it. We have all this length. Offensively, we're not great shooting. That's not us. But we can lock you up. And that's going to give us a chance when it comes down to 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, game's tied, and it's harder for you to get a bucket because all that pressure is mounting, and we're locking up as to where, that can turn into easy transition points. Although they don't get out and run a lot, they do kind of play a little slow. But ultimately, they know what they want to be. But let's talk about the players. Now, I think it's only right the first player we talk about is Jonathan Isaac because, welcome back, first of all. He's missed probably, 3 straight seasons with that knee injury and all the injuries that he's gone through. But he's only playing 13, 14 minutes a game, right? But he's averaging 1.4 blocks in those 14 minutes. That's crazy. So if you put it over, over his 36, he'd be averaging over 3 blocks a game, which that's almost over, I think it's over 4 blocks a game now I'm thinking about it. But obviously, he's not going to play 36 minutes, but that's a great sign that he looks like he's kind of returning back to his pre-injury defensive form, and I hope he has a healthy season. He's really worked his way through this. But Jonathan Isaac, shout out to you because you're back and you're hooping, you're playing good defense, and I think that's really kind of inspiring the young guys a little bit. This dude's gone through so much, and he's able to come back and be as good as he's been is pretty dope. Now we got to talk about Jalen Suggs too, because a lot of people kind of wrote him off. I didn't even know if he'd be in the rotation this year. I didn't know what that was going to look like for him, but he's been pickpocketing, man. 2.2 steals per game. If you didn't know, he's in the passing lanes and he's playing very well. Kind of struggled his first couple of years, trying to figure out like a lot of young guys trying to figure out what kind of player am I going to be in the NBA, and he's kind of figured out, okay, I can lock up on defense. That'll give me a shot to be on the floor every night, and being in these passing lanes and pickpocketing, all that good stuff. It's helping the team defense. Having him there is helping their defense overall. I do think this all does kind of start top down in terms of the players too, because like Paolo Banchero, that's their guy. That's the dog on the team. That is the number one option. But he's made a concerted effort to focus on the defensive end of the ball. Really better in one-on-one and man-to-man, whatever you want to call it. He's just been better. He's not getting lost as much. Same for Franz Wagner. Those are the two dogs on their team. Like those are the captains, the leaders, whatever you want to call them. Those guys have bought in on that side of the ball. So when you get the top guys buying in, you usually will get the top-down effect where now everybody else is buying in, and it helps when you're winning too. So I think those two guys do deserve a little bit of credit on the defensive side of the ball, although they are the offensive firepower that this team rocks and rolls with. A couple other guys I think deserve a little bit of credit. You got Joe Ingles, brings that veteran savviness. He's very in your face and kind of, when you have those young guys, like that kind of gets them pumped up a little bit. I think Goga Batati, without Wendell Carter Jr., has stepped up insane amount, because he was looking like he was well on his way out of the league the last couple of years, but now he's looking like a pretty good player on a solid team. We know Gary Harris locks up 3-and-D. That is what he does. Hopefully he stays healthy, but he's been awesome. I think Cole Anthony's been really good. Markelle Fultz, before he got hurt, was rocking and rolling. Like the team knows who they are. And when you don't have that identity crisis, it sets you up for success. They don't have that problem. And over an 82-game season, they're going to be in a lot of tough, gritty, grimy games, but they're going to win a lot of them as a result of buying into this defensive philosophy. And defense ain't sexy. It's not sexy, but it's going to keep you in games. It's going to get you to the playoffs if you stay at this level and you stay healthy. And it's going to give you a chance down the line to make something happen. If you're young guys like Paolo and Franz take another leap as the season goes, like the sky is the limit for the Orlando Magic, and I think it's super dope to watch, because this turnaround feels like it's kind of happened pretty quick here. But they're a good team. All in all, what's impressing you about the Orlando Magic? Obviously, you can tell for me it's the defense. I love how they play it, how they work as a team. There's the offensive young firepower and all over the team. There's a lot of good stuff going on in Orlando, but the defense is what's keeping them afloat. But if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. Really, really appreciate it. Shout out the Orlando Magic. This defense is rolling. They're picking up where they left off last year, and the team looks really solid. Gritty, grimy. I'm telling you, they remind me of the Grindhouse Grizzlies. That's just my opinion. Let me know if you disagree in the comments. But thanks for watching. I'm done. Peace.